Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Tasmania's Labor Party has suffered a drop in voter confidence, the lowest it's been since its failed election campaign last year. The new polling shows the government's support remained steady, but it's facing scrutiny of a different kind as experts demand significant political reform.
Will Hodgman may have been Premier for the past 5 years, but new EMRS polling has revealed he's missing the mark when it comes to being Tasmania's most popular leader. Brushing off the fact that Labor's Rebecca White today extended her lead as preferred Premier.
Keeping Tasmania's economy strong, on doing more to invest into essential services and improve services for Tasmanians, they're the things I'm more concerned about than an opinion poll.
But for preferred party, it's bad news for Labor. Down to 30%, while the government remains even at 38% and the Greens up to 16%.
A poll 18 months into a 4-year term off the back of a federal election when there's a whole range of issues that are flying around the community. I don't think you can take much store in it.
The polling comes as experts called for a crackdown on political donations.
Voters should know who has funded candidates and parties before they actually vote. And it's really important in terms of, I guess, restoring faith and protecting the integrity of the political system.
Revealing just 20% of the $25 million donated to Tasmanian political parties in the last decade was disclosed. Calling for donations over $1,000 to be reported for a quicker reporting turnaround and a spending cap for candidates.
No Tasmanian, I think, wants to see their democracy being bought and corrupted by money from big commercial and private donors.
The government saying it's working on changes.
We've outlined a systematic approach to consulting and engaging with experts to get a broad range of perspectives and to do so over a reasonable point in time.
So they've been dragging their feet. They do need to come clean. The Tasmanian community needs to know who's actually paying for elections.
Promising to have reforms in place for the next election. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
The government is yet to find a new operator for one of the state's major hospitals, despite the current contract expiring in just a few months. A 20-year contract for the lease of the Hobart private hospital is due to end in December. The government announced in January it had opened a competitive tender process to find a new operator, but as the deadline looms, there's no word on who will take over.
Now's the opportunity to test the market, to have a competitive process that is underway and will proceed at an appropriate time.
The Premier saying a decision will be made by the end of the year. Authorities have confirmed they've located a body near Bridgewater after spending the day searching for a missing 33-year-old. Police undertook an extensive air and ground search near the Jordan River late this afternoon, finding a body on the bank of the river. The remains haven't been formally identified and police say at this stage there are no suspicious circumstances. New protections are set to be introduced for emergency crews working beside high-speed roads. The government is progressing laws to force motorists to slow down near crash and emergency scenes, but there's calls to extend the protection for other roadside responders.
This is the usual office for roadside assistance and tow truck drivers, dealing with a broken-down car on the side of a busy highway.
Our roadside assistance workers attend 12,000 jobs a year on high-speed roads, and while we spend a lot of time with them setting up safe work sites, we can't control every situation.
To help improve safety, RACT wants its crews included in new laws that would force drivers passing crash or emergency scenes to slow down to 40 kilometres.
We think that any effort to slow traffic down around a breakdown site or a crash site or any site where something's happening on the road will certainly decrease the risk, and that's what we're after.
The Police Association and ambulance workers are backing the new protection for emergency workers, but say they could be extended.
Because when we respond to incidents, there's a whole lot of players that attend with us, including tow truck drivers, and they're entitled to a safe workplace just like the rest of us.
We have school limits, 40 kilometres an hour. We have shopping limits of 40 kilometres an hour. It only makes sense.
The government saying that they're willing to work to make the legislation more inclusive.
We'll certainly consider any positive recommendations that come forward with respect to improving traffic on our roads, safety on our roads.
Similar slow down, move over laws have been introduced interstate. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmanian News.
Entrance fees for Tasmania's national parks are in for a shake-up, with annual pass holders set to benefit from a discount on current rates. For the first time in a decade, the changes will see 1- and 2-year passes, most commonly bought by Tasmanians, drop by a few dollars. At the same time, day passes will increase slightly, with the cost for a vehicle jumping to $40.
We invest all of the new revenue back into parks and the services that they provide to improve the experience for both locals and visitors alike.
The changes will come into effect in May next year. Tasmanians are being urged to generously donate blood to meet a high demand in hospitals across the state. The Red Cross is calling on those, especially with the O negative type, with supplies severely dipping due to the flu season.
This Launceston resident has been rolling up his sleeve for years after donated blood saved his life in 1971.
Years ago I was involved in an accident and I had to receive blood, and because of that I've been aware of the need to donate blood for many years.
And Neil has a special blood type, currently sought after by the Red Cross amid a national shortage.
So we're particularly looking for O negative donors. Our O negative supply has reached its lowest levels for this year, and certainly that has been contributed to by our flu season.
The head of emergency at the Launceston General Hospital says the department is managing, but supply is still needed in critical situations.
There's a small group of patients that will require blood at the time they present, and there's not actually time to get matched blood, and so specifically the O negative blood is vital.
O negative is our universal blood type, so it's relatively rare. Only 9% of the population have it, but it can actually go or be transfused to any person with any blood type.
And anyone may need to receive blood at some stage in their life.
Not only emergency patients, but obstetric and surgical and intensive care patients. If you're bleeding, you need blood, you know.
Giving blood is a great feeling, and to know that you're helping people in need, to me that's really the most important thing in life.
Anyone wishing to give blood is urged to contact their nearest donation centre. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmanian News.
A support service for Tasmanian veterans and their families is welcoming a funding boost which will be used to upgrade its facilities. Mates for Mates supports hundreds of people, with the service seeing a 600% increase in demand in 5 years.
The simple exercise of sharing a conversation can, for many, be life-changing. Here at Mates for Mates in Newtown, the main focus is doing just that.
What a seemingly simple cup of coffee can do here, you can't quite put a price on it.
The organisation supports veterans and their families through a range of programs. Michaela Gilovich knows firsthand the struggles which can be experienced when leaving the military.
I was socially isolated, I was very anxious and depressed, and it wasn't until I came into Mates for Mates that I was really able to take steps to counter that.
Its services are proving so popular, it's experiencing an astronomical rise in demand, 600% since 2014.
They can come in and they find this place as a sense of calm and a place where they can feel understood and not have to explain themselves too much.
With that rise, though, means they've outgrown their current space. But a new $5,000 grant from Hydro Tasmania will help upgrades, including a new kitchen at its new larger facility to open next year.
And it's important that a company like ours is giving back to the community.
And a great way to socially connect is over a meal. As we all know, so what a kitchen can do for this community is huge.
Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmanian News.
On the 74th anniversary of the nuclear bomb dropping on Hiroshima in Japan, Tasmanians are getting behind the push to abolish nuclear weapons. The city of Hobart flying 2 flags in support of the international campaign.
We're along with many other cities around the country and around the world that recognise that there is no more significant problem in the world than nuclear weapons.
The flags will be flying at City Hall for the rest of the week. Unlucky lambs born in the thick of Tasmania's chilly winter are getting special help to deal with the cold. Local knitters are creating little woolen jumpers to get the orphaned animals through the season.
These lambs have an extra spring in their step, frolicking around in their new jackets. They've been specially knitted to give the orphan lambs some extra protection this winter.
The orphan lambs do get left on their own. I believe they huddle together at night, but someone's going to be on the outside, aren't they?
This Scottsdale woman is making jackets for orphan lambs after stumbling across a knitting pattern in her Woman's Day magazine. Each acrylic wool coat takes Pam around 2 days to knit.
I take them to Roberts because that's a good drop-off point because people go there for milk for the orphans.
Carly Ablett is one of the farmers that was given a few of Pam's knitted jumpers for her orphaned lambs. She cares for 250 ewes on her farm but has lost 12 of the baby sheep.
They've been unfortunate to be born in the rough weather, and it's just the cold and the wind and the rain, and they're just newborns and they can't handle it.
Losing one of these merino cross-border Leicester lambs can set a farmer up for up to a $300 loss. So let's hope these knitted jumpers can save the little lambs from the woolly weather.
When they start coming outside, they don't need to keep their own little bodies warm. Coat's helping them do it so they can put their energy into just living and being a little lamb. And they progress a lot quicker, I think, yeah.
Pam has one knitting buddy, but is looking to expand her group to create more winter woolies.
There's obviously more farmers out there that would also like some jumpers. And these poor little lambs in Tassie, they deserve it.
April McLennan, 7 Tasmanian News.
Some of the state's aspiring young cricketers got to pick the brains of one of the Hobart Hurricanes' new big-name signings, with Belinda Vaccarera taking part in the club's annual community blitz at the Ravenswood Primary School today. And the Australian fast bowler is hoping for big things out of the group this coming WBBL season.
Hopefully we have a good season. I mean, everyone just coming together and bringing home the trophy, that's the big deal. But I guess for me, I'm a pace bowler, so try and take poles. But yeah, just to have a good season with the team.
The entire team hit the road today for day 2 of the Blitz, visiting schools all over the state.
Everyone wants to see themselves in their heroes, so for girls they can see themselves, but also for boys it normalises women's sport, so there's no such thing as women's cricket, there's just cricket.
The Canes open their WBBL account against the Melbourne Stars in St Kilda on October 19. NBL owner Larry Kesselman says the ball is in Tasmania's court when it comes to the state having its own team in the National League, and basketball fans will have a taste of the action when the pre-season Blitz competition makes its way here.
A long-term dream edging closer to reality.
A little bit back in your court, NBL can live without a Tasmanian team, but we're saying we want one, and hence we're coming here and we're with open arms.
Currently locked in an exclusive negotiation period with the Glenorchy City Council to purchase the Derwin Entertainment Centre precinct, Kesselman has recently engaged a team of professionals to assess the site, with plans to invest up to $200 million on it.
The biggest challenge I still see is the venue itself. It is an old venue that hasn't had a lot of work done to it, and as anyone who's done a renovation before, you're always surprised by how much and how long. So that's what we're waiting to see what our professionals tell us.
The multi-millionaire property mogul is still adamant a Tasmanian MBL licence could be issued as early as the end of the year, with the team potentially taking to the court by 2021.
Scenario we're working towards is for us as the league to start it, set up the right DNA, the right culture, albeit whatever it might take, a year, 2, 3, and then during that process go on a journey to find that right owner for the longer term ownership of the team.
But for now, he's urging fans to show their support for the idea by packing out stadiums around the state when the MBL Blitz pre-season competition makes its way here in September.
The hottest ticket in town, Some of the venues are not huge, so I think I suggest for people to get in there pretty quick. We're bringing, the circus of about 250 people in. We're going to split teams in half and get them to get out to the community as much as we can, inspire the kids, show them what it's all about.
The Blitz begins with a double-header match in Ulverston on September 19.
To hockey, and following a hard-fought 4-3 win over defending Premier League champions OHA over the weekend, University will look to continue that form when they take on competition powerhouse Derwent this Saturday, with the club sitting neck and neck with fourth-placed OHA on the ladder approaching finals.
If we can get one or ideally 2 wins out of the next 2 games, we go into finals with a real head of steam. Obviously, if we don't do that, we're not going to be there. So it's all on the line in the next couple of weeks, and that's why you play hockey, really, for those kind of moments.
The run home isn't an easy one for the side, however, coming up against ladder leaders Northwest Grads in their final match.
17 degrees today in Hobart. Launceston had a top of 13 with 14 degrees in Burnie and Devonport. Certainly nice to see things warming up. Around the state, 18 was the state's top temp for Campania, 17 degrees at Bushy Park, 16 degrees for Friendly Beaches, Grove and also Flinders Island, 15 at St Helens with 13 degrees for Lowhead and 12 for Scottsdale. On the charts, low-level cloud over Tasmania today as the cold front approaches. Further out, a high-level cloud band spreads across Tasmania and South Australia ahead of an approaching cold front. A second front sits just off the coast of WA, while a low trough triggers showers and thunderstorms across New South Wales coastlines. Tomorrow, a complex low sits to the south of the state, which will bring several cold fronts later this week. A ridge extends into WA and another into New South Wales, with a trough located in between. West to northwesterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 25 knots, locally 30 knots at first and reaching 30 to 40 about the south coast, easing later with seas between 2 and 3 metres. A few warnings tonight. There's a gale warning current for southern coastal waters, a strong wind warning for most remaining waters and a small craft wind alert for the southwest lakes. 11 degrees in Hobart tomorrow, 10 and showers for Geeveston, 9 at Bothwell. 12 and cloudy conditions in Launceston, 11 in Devonport and Cressy with early fog there. 11 and cloudy in Burnie and Curry, 10 for Storm with some showers and 13 degrees and sunny in St Helens, 13 also at Swansea and 12 for Orphan. Showers extending statewide from the west on Thursday. Showers for Friday, mostly clearing from the north later on, with showers for most centres on Saturday and a little lighter throughout the north. Taking a look now at your major centres for tomorrow, 16 degrees and showers for Perth and Adelaide. Rain for Melbourne, 13 degrees, 16 and frosty for Canberra, 23 and sunny in Sydney with 25 the top for Brisbane. It's 14 degrees at the moment in Hobart, 11 in Launceston, a few showers and rain in Devonport, 12 degrees. Joe, an energy saving tip once again from our friends at Aurora. Remember to clean out the air filters of your dryer to keep them running efficiently. Mine's had a pretty tough season, I tell you. I don't know about yours.
I just dry mine in the sunshine. Thanks very much for that, Sam. And that's all from the newsroom for now. Have a great evening. We will see you with updates a little later.